sun's fierce light, a figure stands tall in the dead of night. Shadows crawl, but he doesn't sway, a sentinel guarding the break of day. Words like fire burn through the air, a defender of dreams and the world's despair. Facing storms with an unyielding grin, the fight for truth always starts within. Stand tall, golden hair in the wind. The tides may rise, but we won't give in. Through the chaos, a beacon so bright, leading us all to the edge of the fight. The world quakes as the battle ignites. Through the smoke, he's a vision of might. Foes gather aiming from every side, but he moves with purpose and endless pride. Try to break him with venom and lies, but he soared like an eagle, piercing the skies. A symbol of hope when the night is long, a melody rising, a defiant song. Stand tall, golden hair in the wind. The tides may rise, but we won't give in. Through the chaos, a beacon so bright, leading us all to the edge of the fight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania with an update, and my microphone is acting up. What is going on here? Is my microphone being taken over by by evil forces here? This keeps happening. That's happened several times now in the past few days. There we go. All right, so welcome back. Welcome back this evening. Breaking news where the United States and Iran, initially just the United States, had agreed to a Pakistani negotiated settlement for a 2-week ceasefire. Now Iran, word that Iran has also agreed to the ceasefire. However, just before this thing went into effect, a missile was fired at Jerusalem, and that was intercepted by the Iron Dome and destroyed over the skies of Jerusalem, shrapnel falling on the city. No reported fatalities or injuries at this hour. We'll talk about that and much more as we get into it, folks. But this ceasefire comes just a couple of days short of what? The 6 weeks that I gave for this conflict to run. Remember my prediction? I stuck by it. The only time I adjusted it was when Trump suggested that he wanted unconditional surrender. I said that's not possible. It'll take 8 weeks. But since he backed off the unconditional surrender, I went back to my 6-week prediction, and here we are, week 6, and we have a ceasefire. Now, whether it holds or not, it's a whole different story, but I did predict, once again, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Yeah, just like I predicted that the ANC would get between 38 and 42% of the vote, and I did that the week after the municipal elections in 2021 for the elections in 2025. 2024, 25. When do we have those elections? Last year, 2025. 2024, whatever it is. Anyway, I predicted that they would get 38 to 42%, and they got 40.2%. I am not Senior von Rendsburg, but I am a damn good analyst, and I will toot my horn once again. This ceasefire, I don't know if it's going to hold, but my initial expectation has borne out to be correct once again. Let's get into what's actually happening this evening, and I'll start with this statement from President Trump. Let's get this up on the screen for you very quickly here. There we go. And I will read this statement from President Trump, and we'll go on with the news from there about what's happened this evening. Here on the East Coast of the United States, oil prices are dropping like a rock, by the way, at this hour. Based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we've already met and exceeded all military objectives, and we're very far along with the definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States, America is present and is also representing the countries of the Middle East. It's an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald John Trump, President, United States of America. Well, Charles, that's what I said. I said it in my earlier. I said it in my shorts. I did it 4 hours before this thing was supposed to launch tonight, and I said these people keep running their mouths about Trump, and they're not paying attention. Don't listen to what Trump says. Listen to what Trump does. And once again, they're dumb, dumber than a box of rocks. So-called analysts, so-called journalists, so-called professors at universities, so-called geopolitical experts, and almost all of them are wrong yet again. Tucker Carlson, wrong. Candace Owens, wrong. Alex Jones, wrong. All of them wrong. All of them wrong. Anyway, I don't know if it's going to hold. Gus says it's not holding. Well, Gus, we've had one missile fired, so I don't know what you mean not holding. All right? And whether it holds or not isn't the point. I said that within 6 weeks, we would achieve our military objectives, and son of a gun, we've achieved our military objectives. I didn't need Trump to tell me that. They've achieved that sometime. No, he didn't agree to Iran's 10 demands. He agreed to negotiate those things. Anyway, all right, so let's go. Utopia says you guys have not sleep. Well, you were on that side not sleeping before, so what are you talking about? Let's get into this. So I've got some comments about all of this. First off, let me just run through my comments. And so Trump said the accord was subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. So did Trump agree with Pakistan before he heard from the leadership in Tehran? It appears to be the case because word later came that Tehran agreed to it, but not initially. Now, Iran had insisted that they would only open the strait if they had a complete peace deal in hand, but this isn't a complete peace deal, so we have to wait and see if they actually open the strait. Iran also previously insisted on reparations for war damages. Keep dreaming, you're not getting reparations. We want reparations for the murdered Americans. And a complete lifting of Western sanctions on its economy. Well, the United States is one country. It's not all of Western Europe or Japan and others who have sanctions on Iran, so you're going to have to negotiate with them. But my main question is this. Is this even a legitimate government to reach an agreement with? Does this government actually control the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps? Now, a missile was fired at Jerusalem only minutes after the deal was reached. Now, this could be typically defiant Iranian behavior, getting in a last lick, or a rogue missile unit defiantly committed to the war crime of attacking civilian infrastructure, or civilian residential area, Perhaps the unit never got word of the ceasefire in time. Could be any of those three things. And what about one of the main reasons for kicking this thing off? The 970 pounds or 435 kilograms of near weapons-grade uranium that's primarily buried at a site in Isfahan. So what about the uranium? That's what a lot of this was about. Now, Trump's demand that Iran limit the size and range of its now heavily depleted missile arsenal, that was part of it. That's not really mentioned here. And does the temporary ceasefire agreement lend legitimacy to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei? Does it give him credibility? Does it give him legitimacy? Now, the 2-week ceasefire leaves many questions unanswered and raises questions about the conflict. Difficult questions that many of us want answers to. What happens when the 2 weeks pass? Do we resume the conflict? This, of course, presents a War Powers Act problem for President Trump. He gets 60 days to take action. 2 weeks will take us to the 60-day window. Congress is unlikely to grant a resolution to extend this war in an election year. So are the Iranians clever like a fox? And they held out, and now they got a ceasefire without further destruction, annihilation, and they'll be able to survive because Trump won't be able to continue the war after 60 days? I don't know. So does it just give Iran the breathing space to wait it out and get a reprieve from further attacks? I think it might. And what about the Iranian people? They must feel somewhat disappointed or perhaps even betrayed to hear about this agreement. Thoughts? Folks, here's my commentary. Iran cannot be trusted or believed. They've already begun trying to turn the annihilation of their leadership, their air force, their navy, their air defenses, and the nuclear program into a victory for Tehran. Surprise, surprise. Iran's National Security Council, in a statement, said the country had been victorious over Israel and the United States and maintained the United States had accepted all of Iran's peace plan, including guarantees not to attack Iran and Iran's control over the strait. No. Of course, Trump made no such concessions. So, yeah, there you go. Iran made no such concessions. So the Iranians are already pulling their bullshit with their. So already we've had missile fired into Jerusalem. Already we've had the Iranian government claiming victory when they've had their ass handed to them. Yeah. Oh, it's raining in Windhoek. Cool. And ultimately, this does raise a question. Well, Israel can continue alone, but they're not going to. Israel said they're not happy with the agreement, but they will honor President Trump's decision. It's President Trump's decision to make. There you go. There you go. So ultimately, this does raise a question that, or a statement that I need to say, is that what I said on Biz News, the task must be completed. Iran must be completely defanged. It must be completely incapable of threatening and endangering the safety of its neighbors. And that includes with nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles. So, yeah, or long-range missiles. Unless those capabilities are destroyed, we have a problem. We have a problem. Yes, Charles, the media keeps saying Iran's winning. Not only does Iran have no Air Force, no Navy, virtually no air defenses. Well, they have no air defenses. Now they're relying on shoulder-fired missiles to take down aircraft. They have no anti-aircraft systems that can take down the aircraft. They're all gone. So no Air Forces, no Navy, no air defenses, and many of the nuclear weapons facilities have been undermined, destroyed. They've lost 3 different levels of their government. The first team is gone, the second team is gone, the third team is gone, and they're saying that Iran has won. Iran hasn't won anything. They haven't run anything. So, all right, there you have it. So let's get to the news, folks. Oil has already cratered. As I predicted, oil has already cratered. Just the announcement of a 2-week ceasefire, oil dropped 15% instantaneously. Oil futures down to $95 a barrel from $115 earlier today. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. I told you. All the whining and all the complaining and all the uninformed bullshit that people are running their mouths about is already started to come back and bite them in the ass. And oil, which was about $78 a barrel before this started, will creep back down. But then it'll go back up because it's northern hemisphere summertime, and consumption of petroleum is much higher in the northern hemisphere than it is in the southern hemisphere, and we will soon be consuming a lot more oil because of holidays and travel. But here's the statement on his Truth Social, and I showed you the image of what was posted by the White House, the exact same statement from President Trump, posted at 6:32 p.m. Dozen Democrats are calling for Trump's impeachment over his threats to Iran. These are idiots. Every one of them are idiots. Trump suspends U.S. attacks and Iran agrees to a 2-week ceasefire. Initially, it wasn't reported that Iran had agreed, but in the last hour, it has come up. In the last half hour, Iran says it's accepted 2-week ceasefire. Iran's foreign minister says safe passage through the key waterway would be possible for a period of 2 weeks via coordination with Iranian armed forces. U.S. and Israel and Iran have agreed to 2-week ceasefire with the strait. Again, this was the last-minute confirmation that Iran had agreed to it. Initially, they had not. They were arrogant, and now they've agreed to it. The Times of Israel, ceasefire will begin when Iran reopens the strait. So it's technically not in effect until the strait is open. A White House official says ceasefire in Iran war will come in effect when Tehran opens the strait. First round of talks between Washington and Tehran are scheduled to take place on Friday in Islamabad. We will sit down with the terrorist, fascist, theocrats in Islamabad on Friday. That alone is a major development. That alone is a major development. Oil prices, as I said, plunge instantly. 15% stock futures rally after Trump floats 2-week Iran ceasefire. Now that the ceasefire has been agreed to, the prices have declined even further. Even further. Here you can see they dropped $117.33 at 11 a.m. this morning, and it dropped all the way down to $92.41 a barrel. $25 a barrel drop this afternoon. Look at that. It all started plummeting around 6 o'clock. And when it got right here, it was announced 6:28, it was 108, and it dropped another 8 and 6 is 14, another $14 a barrel. Yeah, price of oil is plummeting at this hour. There you go. Well, the price of oil won't drop in South Africa because the greedy government sets the price and they'll keep making money off you. Trump agreed to the ceasefire. These are earlier reports. Now it's also the Iranians if the Strait of Hormuz is reopened. The U.S. halted all offensive operations, according to a senior U.S. official. Early today, Trump threatened to wipe out the entirety of the country's civilization if Tehran didn't accede to his demands by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got an announcement by 6:30. 30 minutes ago, U.S. has halted all offensive operations in Iran following a strike Tuesday evening. Announcement by President Trump. He would hold off strikes for 2 weeks. Yep, there you go. U.S. has struck more than 13,000 targets in 39 days of war. And what does that 39 days equate to? Nearly 6 weeks, which is what I said. 6 weeks. Trump agrees to suspend the attacks for 2 weeks if Iran opens the Strait of Hormuz. This is the Washington Post. Amid threats to bomb civilian infrastructure, the president said he had received a 10-point proposal from Iran that formed a workable basis. Now, one of the problems with that is that earlier in the day I saw reports from Trump saying that the 10-point proposal was unacceptable. So how did it become acceptable? Well, that's a little disappointing. Again, this is Epic Times. Trump suspends Iran attacks, agrees to temporary ceasefire, as has Iran. Look at that defiant flying of an Iranian flag over nothing but rubble. It's the ruins of a police station. Pro-Iranian hackers breached U.S. infrastructure, according to federal authorities. Protesters stormed the Kuwaiti consulate in Iraq. Wow. President Donald Trump said on April 7th that he would suspend pending attacks on Iran. It came an hour and a half before the 8 p.m. deadline and Pakistan's request that he halt the attack. So Pakistan plays a major role in what's happening here in stopping the conflict, at least for the next 2 weeks, assuming the Iranians play well. He agrees to 2 week suspension, and here's the New York Times. It's announced by Trump in a post on social media hours after Pakistan urged him to stand down from the 8 p.m. Eastern Standard deadline he had set for Iran to accede to his demands. Pakistan proposed that each side observe a 2 week ceasefire and that during the time Iran allow oil, gas, and other vessels to proceed unmolested through the economically vital waterway. Shortly after the ceasefire announcement, U.S. officials said American military strikes against Iran had stopped. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said in a statement the Iranians would cease their defensive operation, firing missiles at apartment buildings in Jerusalem is not defensive, and that for a period of 2 weeks, safe passage to the strait will be possible. It advised both sides to try to reach a longer-term end to the war, which began at the end of February with the United States and Israel subjecting Iran to a withering military assault. Iran accepted Pakistan's ceasefire proposal after frantic diplomatic efforts by Pakistan and a last-minute intervention by China, according to 3 Iranian officials. Iran's National Security Council officially confirmed the agreement, casting as a victory in which the United States accepted Iran's terms, which of course is a lie. But China played a role in this, convincing the Iranians to come to the table. Aha! And why is that? Because China's economy is imploding without oil. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. So there you go. He has some good content. Okay, let's see. 2 weeks to suspend bombing. This talks are held in a long-term peace deal. Of course, the New York Times claims that Trump backs down, but Trump didn't back down. Iran backed down. No injuries reported as the Israeli Defense Force intercepted the Iranian ballistic missile launched at a residential area in Jerusalem. Pope Leo needs to learn how to keep his mouth shut. He's making the Catholic Church wildly unpopular. Pope Leo denounces Trump's threat to destroy Iran's whole civilization. The Chicago-born moron suggested that fellow Americans call their congressional representatives and ask for peace, not war. I suggest that Pope Leo stick his head up his ass and shut up. Nobody wants to hear what you got to say, Mr. Pontiff. It's not your place to interfere in politics in America. You idiot popes from the Vatican keep sticking your nose in our business. Quite frankly, I think we ought to start charging the Catholic Church taxes. If they're going to participate in the political process in America, they should be paying taxes. Yeah. So you can shut up, buddy. That's 2 moronic popes in a row. Can we get back to the German, or did he die as well now? The one who left the throne. Yeah, these idiots. Wow. Boy, that mission to rescue that last pilot in Iran took 155 aircraft. That is unprecedented. Never heard of such a thing before. Usually a couple aircraft, 155 aircraft. U.S. deployed 21 planes to rescue 1 pilot. The second mission involved 155. 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, and 13 rescue aircraft. That's absolutely insane to get one person. Well, you know, he's going to have a book deal. That's going to be a Hollywood movie in the end. Going to be a Hollywood movie. You know, if you listen to my comments there, Xavier Grayling, I said you cannot trust Iran. Said that at the very outset here. All right. Good morning, Sloth Puppy. Dan is here from Wyoming. Well, the question there, Dan, is how is Russia, China, North Korea going to get arms into Iran? They'll have to fly them in, and that'll be obvious. Flights from Russia have continued throughout the military operation, so it's not new. U.S. will continue to collect data on potential targets. Yep. Hey, Alex. Wish Marjorie Taylor Greene would go away. I agree. I wish she would go away. Dylan Comberg is here. Thing of Nouns is here. 1440. James Warren. Hello to you. Bosch Zebra's back. How's it going? Okay, how we doing? At this hour, which is a very odd hour for South Africa because it's 2 a.m. for South Africans, we have an audience over 90. That was pretty good. Thank you all for coming in. Be sure to hit that like button if you run off. Yep. And Ewan, welcome to you. Jacob is here. What else we got there? Zeus Motion, hello. Xavier Gring, Antoinette. It is cold, yes, Antoinette. Charles Van Onselen. Gus, welcome to you. President Trump was going to do a switcheroo. Well, he did a switcheroo of sorts. Okay. Trump is a wily character. Exactly. Exactly right. No, Trump did not agree to the 10 demands. He said it's a basis for working. So, Piers Morgan earlier, they kept fixating on part of the tweet and not in its entirety. Exactly, Charles. Which part of the tweet were they fixated on? You may blow your own horn. With decades experience, you have truly honed sixth sense. Fact, and thank you for sharing. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you very much. Yep. No, that's look, I mean, I'm only tooting my horn because all these jerk-offs are, attacking me and lying about me and disparaging my character and idiots saying I'm speculating. I'm not speculating. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about here. There's a reason why government officials have asked me for advice on policy on certain countries. There's a reason for it. It's not just because I'm the better-looking, better-dressed chimpanzee. Hey, Jaretha, what's up? You're welcome. Missile attack is usual for our, take a chance to, exactly. Typical behavior. Shan Killian says, we don't sleep, we just wait. At least they know President Trump is serious. He will keep the troops there. They'll be ready. 2 weeks from now, they'll be ready. And plenty of ammunition will be back in the region. Plenty of resources will be back there. Utopi says, you asked the right questions. Well, I think I asked the right questions. Thank you for agreeing with me. Media and leftists keep saying Iran are winning. Nope. They seem to have missed the fact that Iran has no Navy Air Force. Yep. Couldn't go to sleep. I was waiting to see what will happen. Then I saw you will be on, Colonel. And now I can go to bed. All is well. Okay. Well, that doesn't mean Iran will abide by it. It just says they agreed to it. But the Iranians are devious, deceptive little bastards. Wonder if the prices here in South will drop. Well, they should, Ewan, but South Africa's price is controlled by the government, so it won't happen immediately. Look at my glasses. Are they dirty? Oh, they sure are. My goodness. I'm not used to wearing glasses, but I take these things on and off so often they get dirty. And so let me wipe them off here real quick because I can see the dust in there. It's weird. Okay. Those of you who have been wearing glasses, I'm not accustomed to this. These are reading glasses. You must know what it's like. It does. If it does, it will be delayed by a month. Okay, what's that? Truth can never be trusted. Probably why BB is circumspect. Yep. Hey, T for 2 Rose. Good evening to you. In the Afrikaans, we call that the Fachlan in the butt of a chicken in the Pope's nose. Yep. Iran apparently launching drones and missiles in all directions after ceasefire. No, there's no such reports. Where are you getting that bullshit from? No such reports. No. There's no such reports. Fake news. Show me your source. Call sign Lobo. Show me your source. Herman Lowe, welcome to you. And Madeline, Ms. V. Okay, and don't reckon the ceasefire will last. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Oops, I got to turn the alert boxes off. There we go. Okay. Currently mentioned China everything. Yes, China's crippled economically, but just think of all the Norinkos that'll be shipped next week. Well, yeah, that's possible. Last part of the tweet, which said they praised the people of Iran. Yeah, that wasn't even mentioned, was it? Caroline gave 5 gift memberships. Thank you. Oh, Xavier Grayling got one. Ooh, there you go. Sean, you're wearing glasses like kissing your mother-in-law. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Denial or lack of support from some of the allies who has exposed inconvenient truths, which are denial of what? Thing of nouns. What are you referring to? A song for each accurate analysis. I don't have time to write that many songs. Oh my goodness. Yep. So Golden Hair Warrior. I couldn't find the video that I made for that, but I played the song at the beginning of this. Of course, the Golden Hair Warrior is Donald Trump. Yep, there you have it, folks. That's the situation tonight. The Iranians have agreed to the ceasefire, but again, does this give legitimacy to the government? And what about the people of Iran? They were hoping that these bastards would be gone forever. So will we wind up with the status quo? And this is the risk. I said on Biz News 2 weeks ago, I said the risk here is that we defang Iran, but it's temporarily because the same bastards remain in power, and they simply use the time the next couple of years to rearm, refit, prepare, and be better prepared for the next time, dig in their defenses. And then when Trump leaves office, they'll simply renew their nonsense. You're welcome, Dylan. Caroline, how's it going? Yeah, anyway, so what say you? What do you guys got to say about this? Anybody got anything to say? Want to add to this? Any questions? Any comments? Okay, there's a report of a missile that was fired. Where are you getting your information from now, Dan? I'll ask the same question I asked the other gentleman. What is your source? Twitter? 2CTV? Or wait, oh, that's a long time ago. I'm sorry. I get my chat is behind over here. Sorry, guys. Oh, sorry. Okay. I don't think the Iranian monarchy is coming in anytime soon. They want to. Hell, the Yugoslav monarchy has a better chance of coming in than they do. Yes, the Democrats have been showing the true colors, calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked. They're just lunatics. The forever war of the world has gone mad. What are you talking about? What forever war? 6 weeks, it's done. Assuming the Iranians play nice. It'll be over, but they have to play nice. So what forever war? By the way, this is the first war that Trump has started. He's ended so many wars, so I'm not really sure I understand that comment. Please elaborate, Bush Wookie. Please elaborate. Yeah, Charles, the Democrats show exactly who they are. Christo Ostoisen says, President for duty. Trump is a masterclass act. Just shows how a real strong leader leads. Yeah, well, he didn't have to have the nasty language on Easter Sunday. But, I mean, if that's the worst a guy does, I mean, we can survive with that. But, yeah, Trump definitely has gaslit these clowns. Fox News with dinner, so not the best source. Okay. All right, Beefcake. Thank you, Dan. Fox News, yep. Democrats have made it difficult for Trump to prosecute the conflict. They've become part of the problem. Well, of course they're part of the problem. Thank you, Neff, for the $5. I agree. Iran can't be trusted, but Trump is known to play 3D chess, so let's hope he's got a bigger plan. Well, that's my hope as well, but I'm pretty chuffed because who said it was going to be 6 weeks before it even started, when it launched, and throughout the time. The only time I changed that was when Trump demanded unconditional surrender. I said they can't get that in 6 weeks. So he gets up to 8 weeks with the World Powers Act. So temporarily, then he backed off. He backed off the unconditional surrender. I went back to 6 weeks, and here we are. Just a couple days away from this weekend would be 6 weeks. So it's 5.5 weeks. I mean, nailed it. Nailed it. And how did I nail it? Because I knew that's how long it would take to take out all of the key targets that are of military value. It would take 3 to 4 days, maybe a week, to establish air dominance, control of the skies, which we achieved. And then they could rain down hell anytime they want, anywhere they want, which is what they've been doing for the past 4 weeks. Yep. The world's always been mad. Yep. Yeah, people only now start paying attention because of social media. Yep, the world's always been mad. Shall I run through the list of conflicts? I mean, there are so many conflicts in my lifetime. All over the world. In my lifetime, we've had the Vietnam War. We've had the Chinese invading Vietnam in 1979. We've had Tanzania invading Uganda in the 1980s. We've had the Grenada conflict. We've had Panama, Just Cause. We've had the Gulf War. We've had the Iran-Iraq War in my lifetime. We've had constant fighting between India and Pakistan in the Kashmir region. The list goes on and on and on. Yugoslavia, Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia, Kosovo. List goes on and on. Russia, Ukraine. Yeah, there's nothing but the Falklands War. I mean, there's been one war after another. It's the nature of human beings. They just love to kill each other. And if they're not at war, they're just busy killing each other in the streets of South Africa, you know? It's crazy. Wait till the midterm elections are done, okay? The art of the deal and negotiation, sometimes certain language is required, and boom, there's a ceasefire. Any thoughts on why Trump used the word rain instead of rain in his post? Did he do that? I didn't notice that. Balui says, why is Tucker and Sean Ryan all of a sudden implying Trump is an anarchist and wants to kill the people around with nukes? Well, because Tucker is a fraud. He's a charlatan. Tucker Carlson has become a charlatan. He has. This is the guy who for years was on CNN with his bow ties, went to Fox News, took over for Bill O'Reilly, started a program, a little bumpy start, but then found his way and was doing very well as an analyst. Although what most people don't realize is that Tucker Carlson wasn't doing the work. The people writing that news, the people researching that, were his staff behind the scenes putting it together for him. And then he briefed him on it. He went on air and said it convincingly. It doesn't make him smart. I saw how smart Tucker Carlson is not when I watched him leave Fox News and get 100 million views, which is brilliant. But then he foolishly allowed Vladimir Putin in the midst of war to be a propagandist. That's like giving Joseph Stalin a microphone for 2 hours, which is what he did. At that point, I questioned his judgment, and he's got crazy and crazier ever since. Desperate for attention and influence. People actually mention him for president. The guy would never be president of this country. Tucker Carlson is a sellout. He bends with the wind. He goes with what he thinks popular. And he's in a boat with a lot of famous people. A lot of famous people. I don't know who Sean Ryan is. Never heard of Sean Ryan. News to me. Or maybe if I know him, I don't recognize him. But the same thing can be said of Alex Jones. Same thing can be said of Candace Owens. A whole list of these so-called, Nick Fuentes, so-called conservatives. These so-called conservatives. Tucker Carlson was at the convention. Remember what he said about Trump? God has intervened. He saved the president for a reason. Remember that? Do you remember that? How do you go from that to attacking Trump so blatantly and so openly in a time when the nation needs unity? Only to be proven wrong yet again. So Tucker Carlson and all these so-called, conservatives are all wrong today. All wrong today. All this so-called MAGA base who aren't real MAGA base. All these people, this infighting between the Kirk crowd and Turning Point USA and the Candace Owen crowd, it's all BS. These people are all charlatans. They're all charlatans. Yes, Tucker does have a pompous attitude and a bow tie. I did give Tucker Carlson credit, in full disclosure. I did say at one point, those who've been with the program for a long time, I said in 2020 and 2021, when everyone else was navel-gazing and they were obsessed about a second impeachment of Trump, which was ludicrous, Tucker Carlson, the first week of January of 2020, told the world about a virus that could have a deadly impact around the world and will devastate the world. The Chinese were covering up and hiding it in the wet markets of Wuhan, a town most people never heard of unless you're a historian and you follow the Japanese conflict in China during the 30s and the Second World War. That'd be me. I knew where Wuhan was. Most people didn't. Fair enough. How would you know about Wuhan? The point is Tucker Carlson and his staff did a great job telling us about that. Then they were doing bang-up work until they left Fox News. And then he went off the deep end. Exactly, his rant about Trump making fun of Islam insulted Christianity after he whined about Trump making such a statement on Easter Sunday. There's no rhyme or reason to what these people are doing. They have millions of followers. They have no experience in government. They've not served in uniform. They are not professors. They're not real authors. They have ghost authors that write bullshit things that people buy because they're bubblegum Fox News analysts, and people buy this stuff. They're just talking heads. Talking heads. Yeah, I didn't notice that Trump wrote that. Let me, but that is interesting. Well, yes, you have Gabe McKenzie. Well, Gabe McKenzie's all over the place. Gabe McKenzie is an equal opportunity pleaser. He likes to please lots of people. Many of the allies of the U.S. did not provide any support, and inconvenient truth would be that even if the UK wanted to provide support, they lack. Yeah, they do. In fact, I have an article about the rapidly shrinking British army that almost doesn't exist. Down below 75,000 troops now. It's down around 70,000. They have nothing. They're a shell. They cannot even perform the most basic missions. And there's almost no combat troops. That's mostly support troops. The UK army is barely larger than the South African army, a country that had a global empire just a few decades ago. That's insane. That's insane. Hey, Joe, Texas. Well, it's because we got a 2-week ceasefire. Tucker Carlson reminds me of the bishop in the movie King of Heaven. Convert now, repent later. Yeah, no, I once listened to Tucker and I gave him credit, but the moment he started acting crazy, I questioned it. Yep. Just like the moment that Candace Owens started going off on her anti-Semitic rants, that I'm like, what the hell's going on over there? What's going on over there? Yep. Anyway. Yep. No, it's this is the difference between people who are actually engaged in care and people who are doing this for fame and fortune. People believe that Tucker Carlson was doing this because he cared. That belief in me disappeared when he put Vladimir Putin on camera and let him say what he wanted to say for 2 hours. That's when he lost the plot that day. That was all about clicks. That was all about ad revenue. It was all about Tucker Carlson making money and building his brand. It added nothing to the body of knowledge. It added nothing to a peaceful settlement. It added nothing to academia. It added nothing to public discourse. It was simply Tucker Carlson making money, becoming famous. And it was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic. That's today, all trust for Tucker Carlson went completely out the window. Completely out the window. When Candace Owens started attacking Jews and saying anti-Semitic things against the state of Israel and all this other nonsense against Trump, Nick Fuentes doing the same sort of nonsense. The whole list of these characters, a whole bunch of them. And the Democrats are eating it up. It's all over the press. Ooh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, ooh, Alex Jones, ooh. Ooh, indeed. Ooh, it's the smell and stench of fake conservatism. Yep. Like I've told you all, folks, we were here before Trump and we'll be here after Trump. Conservatives. People believe in faith, family, and flag. People who believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, restrained government, small government, opportunity, merit. We were here first. We'll be here after Trump. Not going anywhere. Yeah, well, Charles, you're with me at this Putin interview. Joe Texas agrees. King Charles. I really don't care about King Charles. The UK's imam named Charles doesn't need to come here. We don't need the imam of England, the grand imam, the grand vizier. We don't need him. He can stay in the UK. We don't need the king here. No. We kicked the king out in 1776. We won that independence in 1783. We don't need a king here. Queen Elizabeth, yeah, she was kind of cool. But this guy, he's a buffoon. We don't need him. He should go, remonstrate his offspring and his brother. His little Nazi son and his brother pedo. A true fundamentalist Democrat in disguise. Yep. Putin's rant was not even historically correct. No, it wasn't. Thoughts on how ceasefire will affect the midterms. Well, if this is actually over, which I'm not holding my breath. I didn't say the war is over. I didn't say it. I said the campaign would last 6 weeks. I didn't say the war is over. But if it's over, the price of fuel will drop. It's already dropped $20-some today. All right. 26 and 17, $23 or $24, $25 already dropped today. If that happens before you get into summer season, that'll ease things. That'll free up the economy. Prices will come back down. The tariffs are still being worked out by the courts and by the Trump administration. This sets the administration up very well for what's coming. Yep. But Lily says the Putin interview didn't bother him. It was the propaganda he went on afterwards. Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't even watch that after watching the interview, so I missed that. Oh, how amazing this is compared to the USA. What's that? What are you talking about, Belouy? CNN 32 minutes ago. What's that? Is that you talking about the bombing? CNN? Okay, let's go to CNN. You're saying there's more missiles being fired. Is that the source? Thank you. I asked for a source. I assume this was. I see nothing on CNN saying anything about that. They're talking about oil prices drop. Iran's military will coordinate passenger vehicles. There's nothing here about attacks. Nothing here about attacks. I'm on CNN. I'm not making this up. I'll show you. There's CNN. CNN. Nothing. Click on live updates for when Iran. If it's going to be any, it will be here. There's nothing here. So I'm not sure what CNN, what source you're getting from CNN. Hearing the UK military becoming a shell and you mentioning South Africa, it's sort of connecting the dots. It's obvious UK has fallen under Keir, government overthrow scene. Well, the UK has been falling for decades. Gordon Brown eviscerated the military. They cut it. They cut it by another third. They cut it again. The army has not been upgraded with anything in 40 or 50 years. It's just a disaster. The Kuwaiti army said its air defenses were detecting missile and drone attacks. It said explosions being heard were a result of air defense systems intercepting attacks. Again, what is the source? CNN? There's nothing on CNN. Where are you getting CNN International? There's nothing on CNN. Charles is a cryptic Muslim. Yes, lobotomized. I said they broke the ceasefire. The moment that it was announced, they fired a missile at Jerusalem. It was shot down. Said you can't trust them, didn't I? Clayton Fuller wins this. Okay. Yeah, bye-bye Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yep, but that was expected. That's a Republican district. War is profitable. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's for some people, but not for everyone. Hey, Bex. Meantime, here's how that return ticket from Cape Town. Just 8,000 rand. Whew, is that on Fly Sapphire? Many crickets. Tucker was going on about how much better Russia was than the U.S. Yeah, he's an idiot. Tucker Carlson's a propagandist. Yep. Either my Fox Clocks is, or your watches. Fox Clocks currently says it's 1941, and that's 1 minute behind. I've told you my Chinese clock just doesn't keep time very well. Why don't you run for president? I don't have billions of dollars to run for president. Fuel prices here are going to have extremely bad effects on everyone, especially with electricity price increase. Marjorie Trader Green. Yeah, well, a lot of people feel that way. I always thought she was a loudmouth and a crass, foul-mouthed individual with her bleachy blonde hair. It's all about her. And she's proven it's all about her. No, Joe Texas, I'm not convinced the ceasefire will last. I don't have a watch. You mean that clock? That's not a watch, that's a clock. Oh, 2040, you're right. Oh, yeah, it is 2040. Why does this say 1940? It's 2040 right now. Why does my thing say 1940? That's not right. Huh. It has the wrong time for Baltimore. That is weird. That is not right. Huh. Strange. I don't know what's going on. That's the correct time. It is actually 8 something. Yep. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. So my Fox clock says wrong too. I've got Baltimore on here and it says 7. That's not right. 7:43. It's 8:43. That's strange. Ashley on the Kuwaiti Army said it's air defense protecting missile. Okay, what is Ashley on? Call sign. What is that, Ashley on? I don't know what Ashley on is, man. Even though the IRG is apparently still in charge, I suspect all the missiles fired now are from the rogue independents. Yeah, that's likely to be the case. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm not in Texas time. That's the correct time. This stupid thing on my computer is off. I don't know why. Everything else is right. It's 2:43 in the morning in Namibia and Pretoria. Wellington's 1:44 in the afternoon. Sydney 11 o'clock. Tokyo 9 a.m. Perth 8 a.m. Dublin after midnight. He's a reporter from CNN. Ashley on. Okay. All right, well, maybe it's on Twitter because there's nothing on CNN. Oh, Cyril Ramaphosa acting like a fool again.
But throughout the country.
Cyril Ramaphosa
knows more in depth because they are dealing with this. There are quite a number of other areas, not only in KZN, but throughout the country, where we are now taking very clear, definitive steps to work on the reparation process. Now, for us, this is more than a great moment because the United Nations having declared that slavery, the enslavement of people, was a crime against humanity. And
it was. And who enslaved people? Africans. Who sold black Africans into slavery where they're castrated for 1,000 years before the Atlantic slave trade started? Africans. Africans. Who enslaved those people? Arabs. Muslims. So you want reparations? Ask the Ghanaians for reparations. By the way, virtually nobody from South Africa was taken from there enslaved. You want reparations? Shove it, buddy. Shove it. There's no reparations to be had. The only people with reparations would be the Cape Coloreds, some of them who came from Indonesia, from Malacca. But no, the Atlantic slave traders took slaves. They took some from Mozambique, some from Angola, but most came from the Congo and from West Africa, and they're all supplied by Africans. Africans, the original enslavers in Africa were the Africans. The Arabs keep getting passed for slavery because they're in collusion with the black Africans over this historical lie. Yep. They get a free pass because they're in collusion with these clowns. Yep. And the Romans had slaves and the Greeks had slaves. Chinese had slaves. India has a caste system, which in its effect is slavery. Yeah, what's my thoughts on Pete Hegseth? Not very good, Belouis. Not very good. He's arrogant, he's haughty, and he's full of crap many times. Yeah, when I met him at CPAC in Florida, he was very disrespectful and rude. And now he's in charge of military. I was just at active duty when he was disrespectful and rude to me. Didn't have this big beard then. Just very rude and disrespectful. Yep, the Dahomey tribe made it possible. Yep. Right, they castrated most of the black Africans they took into the Middle East. That's why there's very few black people in the Middle East. Yep. What's disappointing to hear? My thoughts on Pete Hegseth? No, I've been clear about Pete Hegseth since he was a commentator for Fox News. I was not impressed. Not impressed. And I'm not impressed with what he's doing. This silliness of taking rank off of chaplains, that serves no purpose. His focus on trivial things that don't matter, and when he should be focusing on other things is, whatever. I mean, it's Trump's decision to pick him. Yeah. Oh, no, that he's not all he seems. Well, Belouis, that's my opinion. That's my observation. Doesn't make it correct. Just saying, you asked me for my opinion. The whole show was nice till I'd see Ron Post's face. I'm sorry, Mr. Bezuidenhout. Swedish Viking roots enslaved the Slavs. That's exactly the term Slav comes from slaves, Sklaven. Yep, their ethnicity, its name, Sklaven. Yep, you're correct. Oh, yeah, Pam Bondi was fired last week. Yeah, she was fired by Trump last week. Yep. He sacked Pam Bondi. And, yep, his former attorney is now the acting attorney general. The Barbary Pirates? Oh, yeah. Look, I've covered this many times. The English enslaved the Irish, shipped to the Caribbean as slaves, not as indentured service. That's a myth. They were shipped there as slaves. Yeah, show Ramaphosa where Normandian is. Exactly. Yep, showing where the white crosses are. Yep. Is it comical to see leftists and black supremacists in South Africa take pictures of the Witkois monument in Petersburg, Polokwane, and act like fools talking about the Normandian event? They're not even the same. They're many miles apart. Yeah, it's just comical to see these idiots do that. They just fools to themselves. 105 people currently here. Thanks, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. Do you think U.S. military should have taken out Iranian oil? No. However, I disagreed on the operational strategy of this plan. I would have sent Delta and Special Force or Delta and SEAL teams in to capture Karg Island at the outset of this conflict, and I would have disabled all their military stuff and then deployed a Ranger battalion and or a Marine battalion onto the island to defend it and occupy it, shutting down their ability to get any resources. Yeah, that's what I would have done from the outset. That begged for U.S. troop presence, in my view. It wouldn't have been without casualties, but that's been my view. Yep. Absolutely, 100%. Hey, Boss Deborah, how you doing? So that's my view on that. That's just my view on it. That's how I feel about it. It won't be shy. So let me go through my comments again. I made some notes here, and I'm going to highlight the stuff for those who tuned in late because we didn't have this audience when we started. Trump said the accord was subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. So my question is, did Trump make an agreement with Pakistan before he heard from leadership in Tehran, and subsequent events bore that out? I wrote these questions down a couple hours ago when it was first announced. Now, Iran had insisted that it would only open the strait if it had a a firm, complete peace deal, which they didn't get. So now they agreed to open the straits even without it. So they're saying Trump always chickens out. But Trump got what he wanted here. The Iranians insisted they would not open the straits unless they had a complete peace deal. They're not getting a complete peace. They're just going to ceasefire and they open up the straits. So they chickened out. They also want reparations. Nobody's giving them reparations, so they chickened out. And they want the Western sanctions lifted. Nobody's lifting sanctions. So that's 3 points right there. The Iranians have already lost and they're declaring victory. But my real question is this. Does this agreement, is it even a legitimate government? Who is really speaking for the Iranian government? We don't know if they're really in charge, do we? Do they control the IRCG or GC? The missile that was fired at Jerusalem minutes after the deal was reached raised a few questions. Now, this could be typically defined Iranian behavior, getting in that last lick. Could be a rogue missile unit, defiantly committing the war crime because it was fired at civilian targets. Not civilian infrastructure, but civilian targets, residential areas. Perhaps it's a unit that never got the word there was a ceasefire. Now, what about the 970 pounds or 435 kilograms of enriched uranium, nuclear bomb capable? It was buried at the Isfahan site. What about that? Where's that uranium? Trump demanded that Iran limit the size and range of its now heavily depleted missile arsenal. We know it's heavily depleted. They haven't got many missiles left, but they certainly can fire a lot longer than anyone suspected. They nearly reached Diego Garcia with one of these missiles. Supposedly, they couldn't reach that range, according to Barack Hussein Obama. Yep. Now, does a temporary ceasefire lend legitimacy to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps and its new supreme leader, the Motabi Khamenei? Good question. Now, the 2-week ceasefire leaves many questions unanswered and raises questions about the conflict. Difficult questions that many of us want answers to. So what happened to the 2 weeks when the 2 weeks pass? Do we resume the conflict? This will present a War Powers Act problem for Trump. He gets 60 days to do whatever action he needs to. 2 weeks takes us to the 60-day window. Congress, in my view, is unlikely to approve a resolution to extend the war in an election year. Also, the post 9/11 authorization probably is not applicable here, so he's going to need one. Now, does this give Iran breathing space to wait it out and get them a reprieve from further attacks? Because we get to 60 days and Congress doesn't approve it, then Trump can't attack anymore under the law, in theory. So the Iranians are probably going, whew, we dodged a bullet, we'll stay in power. And what about the Iranian people? They must feel disappointed or betrayed after hoping that their government would be overthrown. But the bottom line here, folks, is Iran cannot be trusted or believed. They have already begun trying to turn the annihilation of their leadership, their air force, their navy, their air defenses, and their nuclear program into a victory for Tehran, plus 3 levels of leadership. Iran's National Security Council, in a statement tonight, said the country had been victorious over Israel and the United States. And they maintained the United States accepted all of Iran's peace plan, including guarantees not to attack Iran and Iran's control over the strait. Of course, Trump made no such concessions. That's just poppycock. They're just making that up. But people will believe it. Okay? Job waiting for me if I'm privileged enough to be approved for resettlement. So I had some good news today. Now hoping, okay, good luck with that, Belouie. By the way, for those of you who caught the interview with Ingrid earlier today, I have some good news. You know, I'm like a magic good luck charm. So the refugee that I interviewed in Las Vegas, it was off screen, now has a job after I visited him. He's working. And Ingrid, whom I interviewed this morning, we talked about a job, and she didn't have a job. Oh, wow, just got a job. Be driving bulldozers, forklifts, and cranes. So Ingrid got a job. Also, Vanner Stoltz from the Stoltz family has gotten a job down in South Carolina. Jobs everywhere. South African refugees finding work. By the way, Ingrid told me what she's going to make, and I'm envious. She's got a good union job, and she's going to be doing quite well. And she's going to be doing something she's excited about. How cool is that? I am like a good luck charm, man, like a rabbit's foot. I interview people, and they get jobs. Who wants to interview? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Iran is just like the cancer with the DA. They're very clever, very conniving. Malice is inherent. Yep. Yeah, Hamas did the same thing. They fired missiles to get the last lick in. Dylan says, glad to hear that. Yep. I was walking in my complex today, heard a colored woman, a 7-year-old, talking Afrikaans, and found out they came last week. See? Broken arrow, but I thought only white farmers went over. Once again, more proof. Ask the colored family if they'd like to do an interview. They should pay it forward. They got to come over. They should encourage others by appearing on the program. I'm shocked at how many people don't contact me for interviews. Defense Israel says Iran launched more missiles and pledges. Response to ceasefire plan took effect overnight, but implementation appears shaky. Defense News. That's a South African thing. Or are you talking about the U.S. Defense News? Okay. I'm at the U.S. Defense News. There's no mention of anything there. Iran coverage. Let's go to that. Nope. Nothing on Defense News. You must be talking about South African Defense News. Who is representing Iran? Yep. That's okay, Broken Arrow. You can let them know they can be off camera if they want. They can be off camera. Next, I'm glad for that reason. I, on the other hand, was asked today by our case officer if I can arrange our own transport from Bentonville to Fayetteville for our South Carolina. Are you serious? Oh my god, they're useless. They're useless. Orangutan Juice says, even I'm starting my first day of work tomorrow. Wow. Wow, Orangutan Juice. You got a job too. Thank you, call sign Lobo. Yeah, I looked at the U.S. This is part of the Military Times network. So here it is. That's Defense News in the U.S. This is ceasefire. I went down here. This is older stuff here. There's a page of Iran, but that's old stuff. So I'm not really sure. But there is a Defense News South Africa. Maybe that's one. So it's happened. Maybe if you interview me, I'll be lickety split. It could be Rihan's. We've had 30 plus millimeters of rain. Wow. Kleinvindhoek, lovely season. That's a lot of rain. Okay. God bless USA's people giving what they want, the responsibility. Yeah, and so we folks, we're at almost 5,000 refugees have come over to the U.S. so far. We had the one go back on Monday, apparently. That's unfortunate, but I understand. Asked me in Pretoria next week, but it's possible. Now we have to hope for a Cape Town interview. Did you work something out with them and tell them you can't make it next week? Yeah, Balooey, hopefully ceasefire holds. But, I mean, whether it holds or not, my prediction was correct. 6 weeks for this campaign. And we're just a couple days shy of 6 weeks. Bingo. Boom shakalaka. Nailed it. Hit it on the head. Yep. By the way, I will be going to, north of Richmond to the SABP. That's the South Africa Braai and Potjie Fest 2026 at King's Dominion, April 24th through the 26th. I'll be there 24th, 25th. Yep. I have my ticket right here. There's my ticket. I will be going to that. So if anybody's going to be in Richmond, feel free. We'll link up. I'll be going to King's Island, King's Island. I'll be going to King's Dominion for that. And then I'll head down to Richmond to meet with refugees down there. So looking forward to that. Okay. Right. I think the answer here is to go to X. X will probably have the stuff, but I wanted to get this video from...
deserves and requires...
Deserves and requires. I don't need your crap, man. Download Twitter videos. There we go. Post that so I can save Ramaphosa. There it is. That one's saving there. Save as. Save link as. You know, it's funny because South Africa is virtually unaffected by the slave trade. Virtually unaffected. Yet they want to run their mouths about slave trade. More Irish were enslaved in the Caribbean than South Africans were ever enslaved. And he wants to talk about reparations. What a clown car show.
Where we are now taking very clear...
We need to invoke the 25th Amendment roof Trump. Here's an idiot. Ro Khanna, he's a moron of the highest order. This is a demon rat from California. So let's listen to this idiot.
If the United States Congress has any life left in it, every member of Congress and senator must be calling for Trump's removal today based on the 25th Amendment. He is threatening the entire destruction of a civilization. He is calling Iranians animals. He is showing a total disregard for the humanity of people in Iran, in Gaza, in Cuba.
What, like the 35,000 Iranians murdered by the regime when they protested? Total disregard, calling them animals, just execute them extrajudicially. Yet this is a moron of the highest order. Another demon rat from California, Ro Khanna. Yeah, what an idiot. What an idiot. Oh my gosh. A man who brutally murdered an innocent gas station clerk in Fort Myers, Florida, is a Haitian illegal immigrant caught and released by Biden in 2022. I just watched a video of him. I guess that was him murdering the woman.
If you need a steel garage and want to support it.
Oh my God, he's beating her to death with a wrench or something. It's a Muslim woman with a hijab on, and he just beats her to death. Another one of these idiots allowed in this country by Joe Biden. There he is. Wow. April 2nd, he murdered this woman. I can't show you on camera. Wow. Was it a hammer? I don't know. But, I mean, I can't see. It looks like it's a club or something, a wrench. Oh, my God. That's insane. Illegal alien given temporary protected status. Wow. Diversity is Melbourne's greatest strength. After dozens of African youth descended upon a popular mall, they tore the place up, smashed the stores while they fought amongst themselves. Police made no arrests out of concern over cultural sensitivity. So this is what Africans are doing to Australia. Looks like South Africa. But what are they doing in what are all these Africans doing in Australia? It was a hammer, yep. Wow. Wow, the Trump administration is going to have a field day with this one once the Iran thing is resorted. My goodness. There seems to be a blackout on this. Where the hell is this guy at? Copy. I'm looking for his name. There's no search that comes up on it. Man accused of killing woman Gulf Coast. Calling a transient man. No, this is an illegal alien. It's a Bangladeshi woman hammered to death. He's a Florida man. No, he's a black criminal illegal alien. Fraudulently granted temporary status. Why do they tell the truth? Man accused of killing woman. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Illegal immigrant came from Haiti in 2022, given temporary protected status, and he murders a woman with a hammer, just like he would do in Haiti. The man accused of killing a woman with a hammer at a Chevron gas station at Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard in Fort Myers was reportedly an undocumented immigrant. Illegal alien, according to Homeland Security. Robert Joaquin. Those who knew the victim said her name was Yasmin, the mother of 2 teenage daughters who hails from Bangladesh. Jesus Christ. There he is being arrested. At least 3 witnesses told Fort Myers Police they saw him strike a car in the parking lot before he bludgeoned the woman. State prosecutors seek to hold a man accused of the brutal Fort Myers bludgeoning. Faces charged of second-degree murder. Why not first-degree? Criminal mischief and the death of a 50-year-old woman. The woman, a clerk at the D&D convenience store, was publicly bludgeoned to death with a suspected mallet. He was loose for several hours. After his photograph began circulating at the murder, at least 4 police officers recognized from prior interactions. At least 3 witnesses told police they saw him strike a car in a parking lot of the convenience store before he attacked a woman when she confronted him. His arrest reported indicates police detained him on March 24th after they found possession of a stolen backpack. Authorities carried the backpack at the time. So they arrested him in possession of a stolen backpack, and he still had it in his possession when he murdered this woman a couple days ago? What the hell? They let him walk away with the stolen backpack? What kind of cops are these? The owner and landlord of the store where the bludgeoning happened told a Bangladeshi news outlet that on the eve of the slaying, he attempted to withdraw cash from an ATM. After he failed, he demanded cash from the clerk. The owner also shared that the clerk is a mother of 2 teenage daughters. One is a student at the University of Tallahassee, and one works at a different gas station in Fort Myers. The morning after, the clerk told Joaquin that the store does not own the ATM and that she would be unable to give him any cash. He showed up and began damaging the windshield of her car. When the clerk confronted him, he launched an attack, hitting her at least 4 times with a mallet. He had a knife in the other hand. Jesus. And there's the woman who was murdered, hammered to death. He may be linked to another unsolved homicide that occurred several months ago. Bangladeshi woman Nulafur Yasmin has been beaten to death with a hammer at a convenience store. It says she's 48 here. 7:14 in the morning. Wow. If she'd had a gun on her, she wouldn't be dead, would she? Would she? If she'd had a gun on her, she wouldn't be dead. Yeah, it's been going on Australia for a decade at least. I know they're orangutan Jews. Thank you, Albanese. Yep, all those idiots there in Australia. Okay, Wall Street Journal. Okay, here we go. Okay. No, it's not easier to find. I have a subscription to the Wall Street Journal. I have a premium subscription. Here's the Wall Street Journal. Ceasefire. Do you see anything? Where are you getting your news from? From a news aggregator? There is nothing here about that. Let's go to World. Nothing. Let's go to Google and see if there's anything there. No, there's nothing here. Yeah, they charged him with 5 war crimes. Yep. Many years ago, a South African writer, MP van Wijkelo, penned a story. Rocco, what's happening in the story? And many summers written. Okay. How can you send a link? You can't. I can give you a temporary moderator status. Okay, let me do that. Okay, let me do that. Okay, and then you can send me a link. Okay. Add as a moderator, standard moderator. Okay. All right. You can send them once you've sent the link. I'm going to delete that status. We got it. No, I'm not questioning where he's getting it from, but I'm showing you I can't find the stuff in these stories. Alyssa Lupak. See, this might be a circumstance if you're getting news I'm not getting because they Google curates stuff and these websites curate stuff. It's like sometimes the stories that people are getting in South Africa, I don't get them. Even though I have a subscription to all the sites, Cockprot24 to Times Live, I've got subscriptions. Daily Maverick, I have subscriptions. And okay, is that the same one? Okay, let me see. Okay, thank you. Thank you. There, I found it. Okay, so remove standard moderator. Okay. Thank you for the link. And no harm, no foul with that. Okay, so Wall Street Journal. Okay, where's it at? 34 minutes ago. Gulf countries report attacks after ceasefire. Gulf countries in Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates reported missile attacks in 2 hours since Trump's announcement. Well, the thing is that, okay, let's put this in perspective. Iran didn't accept the ceasefire immediately. They didn't agree to it immediately. It took a few hours before they agreed to it. So this probably happened before they agreed. Trump said he would accept the ceasefire. He announced it 6:24 this evening, and we didn't hear until after 8 o'clock, almost 2 hours later, that Iran had agreed to the ceasefire. So that may have occurred in that 2-hour interregnum. Just saying. Yep. So yeah, that story was probably true, but see, that was impossible. I couldn't find that on the Wall Street Journal or any of the other sites. So yeah, that's how it goes. Anyway, all right. So wow, beat that woman to death with a hammer, and these are the animals we let in this country. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. Yep. Iran ceasefire includes Lebanon, Pakistani Prime Minister says. Ceasefire, we didn't talk about this. The ceasefire that the U.S. and Iran reached includes Lebanon, Pakistani Prime Minister said. With the greatest humility, I am pleased to announce the Islamic Republic of Iran, the United States of America, along with our allies, have agreed to immediate ceasefire, including Lebanon, effective immediately. Wow, I didn't see that. I have VPN, but it's just too much trouble to log in and get the news back and forth. Yeah, I use it when I need to, but I don't need it very often. Cannot sleep. I'm awake. Well, Grok, welcome to the crowd. Is Mad Max here? Okay. Where you been, Mad Max? Max, you missed it. So Ingrid, I interviewed her earlier today, didn't have a job. Got a job. She got a union job, driving all kinds of cool stuff. The refugee last week from Las Vegas who didn't have a job wrote to me and said, after I visited him, he's got a job. Werner Stoltz from the Stoltz family down South Carolina, got a job. People are getting jobs everywhere. Yeah, when did Hendo sneak in? Yeah, I don't know. Hendo snuck in there. So Mad Max and Hendo must have had a conference going on. They both came at the same time. Yep, I do have BPM, but I only use it for certain things. Okay, right. So yeah, that's awesome news. They're all getting jobs. Yeah, and it's a good paying job too. Hers is. Yep. She's happy where she's at. Now she's got herself a job. She's off and rolling, man. That's really cool news. You see her son tuned in today. It was pretty cool to watch the show. It was good to see. Right. Okay, what else? We got notification now that you're like, oh, really, Mad Max? Wow, that's odd. We've been on for an hour. We've been on for an hour. You only get notification now. Beth Frazier, what is going on? Where have you been hiding at? young lady? Where have you been hiding at? I haven't seen you in a bit. Anna Kruger's here. I missed that. Good to see Anna. Xavier Grayling, Thing of Nouns. People popping in here now. All right. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. Yep. So let's see. I'm curious if people actually watched my video from this morning about the new ambassador being credentialed. Well, a few people watched, about 10,000. So not great, but okay. 9,900. Didn't even hit 10,000. Wow. 51 comments. And the last one got about 10,000 too. Really down on that. Get on Fox News, came back to get your real news. Well, you shouldn't have gone to Fox News. I could have told you that. Just happened to look online and found the stream was sleeping earlier. Okay. Yeah, Fox News is ridiculous. They're all ridiculous. They're all ridiculous. I mean, Fox News used to at least have some decent journalists. Brett Baer, Shannon Bream. But even that's kind of, gone sideways. The one who's still pretty reliable is Laura Ingraham. But of course, Trump's butt boy there. What's his name? Sean Hannity. You can't count on him for anything. Can we please arrange an interview? I need a job. It doesn't work in South Africa. It only works for people in America. I've sent you a WhatsApp in regards to Richmond visit. You have? Okay. All right. Well, let me see. I don't know when you sent. Oh, there it is. Okay. I got to look at dates and everything. I'm really swamped with getting my taxes done and everything else, but that sounds like it'll probably work. We'll see. Apparently, South-U.S. relations so important that Bozell is made to wait to. Well, yeah, Xavier, but I mean that's not unusual in itself, and I said that in my video. But it is insulting that they did it with Cuba on the day that Cuba happened. That was intentional. And if the relations were that important, and if they wanted to send a signal that they cared, they would have seen him within 10 days of his arrival. But no. Hank the Tank wants to see me on Richmond. Okay, well, I look forward to it. Notification streams and vids are few and far in between. I have to go to your channel. I know, Neff, that's why the views are so far down. Yep, but I mean, the thing is, so, people claim I'm desperate for views. It's still 1.2 million views despite the efforts of YouTube. Still rack up over 1 million views per month, 1.2 million, which is more than most South African channels get. Helen Zilla will save us, Unite South Africa. We need emergency services to the residents of Balui. He is experiencing confusion, disorientation, delusions. We actually heard him say that Helen Zilla is going to save South Africa. I think we should get someone over very quickly with a straitjacket and help the young man out. He's a little confused. Sorry, Baloo, but you asked for that, man. Rory Pike, good night, man. How you doing? Didn't even know you were here. Helen Zilla can't save South Africa. She needs 50 plus 1 to save Johannesburg. She's not going to get it. Not going to get it. Refuge is stuck for medical limbo. Yeah, no, exactly. What you see was compared to Bozell, and did they even demarche? I don't recall if they even demarched Ibrahim Rasool. I don't remember if they did that. I think they just kicked him out. Yep. Anyway, so there you have it. Oh boy. Yeah. So good news there, folks. Thank you. Was it Bluey that gave me the link? Thank you for that, for the story. So we finally got that sorted out. Yeah, again, there was a time lag between when the Iranians accepted the Pakistani negotiated deal and when Trump said it was okay, at least an hour and a half. And so there were missiles fired. That was probably in that period. Yeah, they just booted him. I don't think he got demarched, but they had the audacity to demarche Brent Bozell. It wasn't you. Well, who did I give the temporary link to? Okay, I'm sorry, Blue. Somebody gave it to me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was trying to thank somebody. So I thanked you. You get a free thanks. Call sign. That's how it was. It was call sign. Thanks, Charles. Call sign. Thank you, call sign. Yep. Yeah, that's the Bryfest. I'll be attending that. I have my ticket. I already announced that. Showed by my ticket earlier. A lot of black ink wasted here for this graphic at the bottom, which sucks. That looks like some freaking ultrasound of a child or something, like a demon spawn. It looks like a demon spawn for an ultrasound. This is what your child looks like. Ah, no! It does. It comes out. It looks like a demon spawn ultrasound. Look at that. It looks like an ultrasound. Mrs. Fundameva, I'm sorry. Have you been fornicating with Satan? I mean, this is your child. Your child looks like spawn. The love child of Satan and Miss Fundameva. Oh dear God! It does. It looks like one of those ultrasound pictures, man. That is not good. That is not good. That is not good. Hank the Tank's going to go on Saturday. Well, Friday and Saturday, I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. I may come down Thursday and then be there Friday, and then I'm not sure, and then Saturday, so we'll see. Richmond's not that far away, so you woke me up with all the shouting. Was I shouting, Kathy? I'm sorry. I don't recall I was shouting on this one. 1440, take care. Is it not bad about the child remains discovered in the Easter egg hunt? Was it a child's remains? I heard about remains discovered in an Easter egg hunt, but I didn't hear it was a child. Okay. Huh. That is pretty scary. Okay, let's revise the story. Miss Kamalo? Yes, Miss Kamalo. We have the ultrasound from your pregnancy, and we're just curious, have you been fornicating with Satan? This is your child. I know you're a member of the EFF, but this is your child in the womb. Woo! Devil spawn. Devil spawn. Well, it depends if they're playing music, Baloo. If they're playing music, no, because I'm not going to get a copyright strike. But if I can find some place where the music doesn't come in, I'll do it. Baby, head and skeleton found by children. Yeah, okay, that's pretty... Hey, Art Queen Liza. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. I saw that in passing today, but I didn't get a chance to read up on the story. I think I have to get a new phone, guys. Although I took all my videos and stuff off. By the way, I have more tulips, the ones outside, and the weather has stunted them, but they are blooming now. So I only have a few photos on this thing now because I've taken them all off. But here's an image of my tulips, in case anybody's curious, outside. Okay? And you got to see some azaleas in blue in the background. There's more tulips in the back, but they haven't begun to bloom. And not all these tulips have bloomed, but you can see them starting to bloom there, see? So there's my tulips outside under my tree in front of my porch. So they're starting to come out now. See that? Pink ones. Anyway. So, let me see something. But tonight will be below freezing. So apparently it's going to be 26 degrees. Yeah, so if I zoom in, you can see that, you can definitely see those are tulips. See? No, Steve Hofmeyer won't strike me. YouTube will give me a strike. Anyway, so that's the news tonight, folks, on the attacks. The announcement came about 90 minutes before the 8 o'clock deadline, and I think the Iranians reached their agreement around 8 o'clock. Yep. So, looks like the Democrat is going to win the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. That's unfortunate. Let's pen in on that. So here you go. Here's the race for the Supreme Court position in Wisconsin. And you can see that Chris Taylor, the Demon Rat, is winning that race by about 5,000. Only 10% of the votes are in, though, so it's early. But that's still a close margin. The Liberals currently have a 4-3 advantage on the court. Yep. So, yep. And you can see here, some of these districts are fully reporting. Half are in from Waukesha. Okay. And the good news is Dane, so this one here is only 17% of the votes in, and the Republicans winning, but that's a small district. That's a small district. Madison is in. It's a huge win there for the Democrat, but let's see. That's a small one. Green Bay is huge for the Republican, and that's only 4% of the votes in. So there could be a lot of votes still coming in there. And yeah, so this is surprising. Waukesha County, the Republicans winning there, and that's with half the votes coming in. She's got a significant lead. She's got a 10,000 vote lead there. So if she can extend that lead or maintain that with the other 45% of the votes coming in, that could make the race closer. It's only 5,000 votes between them. So lots of votes you have to come in. Oops, here we go. It just got updated. It's still a 5,000. So Taylor lost 0.1% of the vote. And yeah, so there you go. It's down to about 4,500 votes difference. So that's a tight race for the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which almost nobody's paying attention to, and including Elon Musk. And then here is the race. That's not the one I'm looking for. I want the Republican race. I want to see that. Where's that at? Georgia 14th District. Here we go. This is the Georgia 14th District. So it's a runaway for the Republican. Okay, Clay Fuller. That's the Marjorie Taylor Greene seat in northwest Georgia, rural area there. Harris has got 42% of the vote and Clay Fuller 57%. So about, yeah. Yep. So that gives him a 15-point lead, which is a little less than the 2024 House margin and less than the 24 presidential margin. But yeah, some big margins. Most of the votes are in here, and so it looks like he's going to win this one. The Democrat only wins down here and just barely, and here he wins significantly. But look at this, 76%, 67%, 69%, 64%. Yeah, so the Republican is going to win it. The race has been called, and the Republican wins. So Marjorie Taylor's Green seat will have a Republican back. That will increase Republicans' advantage in Congress now that that seat will be filled after she quit out of nowhere. Proudly born, I see. What's up? Client walks in wanting divorce because his wife had an affair with a white person. The pic in the ultrasound shows the baby's white. Yep, Colonel, true story with a 7-figure salary. Okay, hang on. Your client was black? I don't understand that. Oh, it does say your black client walks in. Well, I mean, you know, it may not have been a race thing. It may just be because the wife had a divorce or slept around. Lots of lost people. Yes, I came across shorts of a reporter asking, do you support MAGA or extreme Islamist? And I believe how many, including gays, chose the latter. It's stupid people. Hey, LBR, what's going on? Stupid people. What time did what start, Sonia Smith? What time did what start? Most survived the Florida freeze. Okay. No, there's no tent in that photograph. There are no tents in no FEMA tents. No FEMA tents here, guys. All right. So I won't be doing a night owls unless I have a change of heart, but I've got a lot of stuff to do, including working my taxes tonight, put some other stuff together, answer some emails. So I got to get busy on that. This live started at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be 2 a.m. South Africa time. And this was going to go, I was going to do 8 o'clock. Thought I'd be reporting on bombs falling over Tehran, but President Trump agreed to the Pakistani agreement to work out a peace agreement. So 2-week ceasefire. Both sides are now agreeing. Refugee camp. Oh, gotcha. Colors are black and white. Wow, that sounds like an idiot. How you doing? I'm okay, LBR. My back's bothering me a little bit. That's why I keep shifting this chair. It's just this chair sitting here. Yeah, so, yep. Yeah, there's some really dumb people out there, that's for darn sure. Thank you, Anna. I thought they're pretty too. They're a little short compared to the ones I had in the house, though. The ones in the house were massive. So they're gone now. We're done. Yep. Oh, yeah. When you move into your permanent residence or you out-migrate, you better report to USCIS within 10 days your change of address. You could lose your status. You got to remember that. You must report to USCIS your change of residence. If you're in a hotel, you move to a house, you better report within 10 days. You must do that. And you can do it on their website if I'm not mistaken. Yep. The hip hasn't bothered me today. It hasn't bothered me at all. My stomach is bothering more than my hip right now. I think you're right. The IRGC is tired of constant bombings. Yeah, I can do it on the website, Bush Wookie. That's correct. That is correct. Anyway, yeah, so what did we do today? We had the interview this morning. It's been a long day. I mean, it's 9:30 at night here. I've been working since 6 o'clock this morning, and I'm knackered. Let me just take a look. So we did lives this morning. We had the interview with Ingrid, who after the interview got a job. She's very happy about her job. So let's see. That was that's had 5,000 views, or 4,000. Yeah, 5,000 exactly. So got 1 subscriber from it. Then I did the live from the War College, and apparently got cut off. I was still talking, and it showed it was broadcasting, but apparently people were just spinning. That was kind of a drag. 3,000 views on that. And then we got this one now, Armageddon Averted. So that's 3 live broadcasts today. I did, today's the 7th, and I did 3 shorts about not forgetting refugees. Iran has less than 4 hours to comply, and congressional Democrats betraying America for parochial reasons. So that's 6 videos so far, plus prepared videos today. I've done 2 of those. That's 8 videos today. Bluey says congrats. Congrats for what? Who are you guys congratulating? May I ask if the cap is almost full? The February this year applications, will they only go over next year? The cap is not almost full, okay? 64% full. That's not almost full. 87% is almost full. 67% of the cap has been achieved so far this year. 64%. At least 36%. We're 7 months through the fiscal year, so we're over halfway, and you've got 1/3 of the slots still available, assuming they actually stop at 7,000. If the cap is reached and they're unwilling to bring more people in this fiscal year, they'll authorize the next fiscal year based on whatever the cap is next year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that people are going to keep coming over, but we'll see. It's up to them. February applications this year. Well, I have no idea, Sonia Smith. Some people are going through now and coming over. Others from February last year are just coming over. Some aren't. So, I mean, I don't have oversight on this program. Can't say the same about my day. Rather busy. No, LBR, thank you. But they're all kind of like that. I mean, but I don't have to do any of this. I mean, I could be retired. I could be retired. I don't have to work. I don't have to do consulting. I don't have to do this broadcasting. I don't have to volunteer at the Veterans Organization. Oh, by the way, I went there too. So that was my day. Up, researching the news, made a video. Didn't publish it, but made the video, the first video. Then I interviewed her. Then I rushed off to the War College for consulting. At the War College for consulting, I took a break. I actually made a short on the way there. Took a break, do a live at lunchtime. Then when I left there at the end of the day, I made 2 shorts on the Appalachian Trail. From there, I came back. I was at home for about 15 minutes. Then I went to the Veterans Organization, started a 50-50 raffle, and passed some news along about Facebook access for the new manager. And then I left there a few minutes, about 6 o'clock. I came back here. I got something to eat. And then I started prepping because it was announced about 25 minutes later that we had a ceasefire. And so I started prepping for that. And I started this at 8 o'clock. It's now 9:30. I'll stop. I'll take a few minute break, hopefully not a nap. And I have to look at my email. And I have to address some of the concerns about refugees. And I've got to do my taxes as well. I spent a lot of time on taxes till about 3 o'clock last night. So, yep. I suspect the cap is a misnomer. Once the cancer turns up heat, the floodgates will open. I think so. If you do, I do not have to. For 2 weeks, people will lose their crap. Yeah, they probably will. Yeah, no, but I mean, I don't have to do any of this, guys. I could just, kick back, buy a Winnebago, drive across the country. It is like a full-time job. Remember, and Ronaldo's always about, you're retired. Retired? I work more than he does. Really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you do. We have this very little going for just a moment, but you're very welcome, Baloo. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here, and you're very welcome. Okay. All right, with that in mind, folks, unfortunately, it's time to wrap up. All right, I'm getting a bit of a headache because I'm a little dehydrated. So thank you all for being here. Be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you later on in case something else breaks. Thanks to the guy who gave the link so we could actually report on those attacks. But again, I said that I think that's all that happened in that interregnum. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheers. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you on the flip side, okay? Cheers. Bye-bye. Don't forget the like button.